Alabama recruiting is on a heater right now. They currently have the 5th best class in the nation. And Kalen DeBoer is once again proving the naysayers wrong. Remember when he first took this Alabama job, it was, oh, a guy from the West Coast isn't going to be able to recruit the South. And yet, Kalen DeBoer is recruiting so well that people seem to have forgotten that Nick Saban has retired, because I keep seeing this posted pretty commonly on social media that Nick Saban is still recruiting for Alabama. Nick Saban is recruiting for Kalen DeBoer. No, Nick Saban isn't doing anything for Alabama anymore. He may be giving Kalen DeBoer a little bit of advice here and there, but this is all Kalen DeBoer and general manager Courtney Morgan. The amount of dominance that they're having on the recruiting trail right now. They have a bunch of 5 stars that they've gotten over the last week. And I want to go over a few of them just to give a quick Alabama recruiting update. Recently, they landed wide receiver Cederian Morgan, who is a big body guy. He has unreal athleticism for somebody that's 6'4", 210 pounds. And it looks like he has a big enough frame to where he could add 20 more pounds of muscle to where we could see him peak at 230. He has a large catch radius. He does a really good job of using his size to get good positioning to win those 50-50 ball situations. And not only is he a 5-star, but he's the 2nd best receiver in the 26 recruiting class, and he's the best player out of the state of Alabama. And I know that Auburn has to be really hurt that they missed out on Cederian Morgan, because, you know, I see Auburn fans saying that we don't really care about national recruiting that much. We just want to lock down the local guys. Well, you missed out on Cederian Moore, so you struck out with him. Then you get safety Jure Edwards, who, in some people's opinions, may be the best player in this Alabama recruiting class. 5-star. He's a top 30 player in this class. And he has the ability to come on campus right away next year and be an instant impact starter for Alabama. He's not Caleb Downs, but he's not too far off. He already has NFL size. And yet, you know, he's 6'2", 210. He could get a lot bigger than that. He has a lot of athleticism. That seems to be the case with a bunch of these 5-star guys. Of course, they got to be good athletes. They wouldn't just give you 5 stars if you weren't. But he can do a variety of different things. He can play in the slot. You can utilize him near the line of scrimmage as like a nickel or dime linebacker. He can cover against running backs, tight ends, and he can also guard up on smaller slot receivers as well. With his physicality, if this guy gets his hands on you, if you don't have the ability to have a little bit of finesse in your game, he's going to absolutely destroy you. And also, he can play up top as well. Single high, 2 high safety looks if you want to use them in that capacity. So, when you got a chess piece like Jure Edwards, it's kind of impossible for you not to get the most out of him. And with his skill set, it'll just be hard not to put him on the field when he ends up touching campus next year. And I know that it's a little bit of time until that happens, but with his size and what I've seen him have on a few of the highlight clips that I've seen of him, this has the potential to be a all-conference or all-American level player for the Tide. And this was one of their biggest pickups without a doubt. And he shut down his recruiting pretty early. After he took his official visit to Alabama, he pretty much canceled his officials elsewhere. So it was pretty much a guarantee that he was going to Alabama. Then they got defensive lineman Nolan Wilson, who is the 99th ranked player in this recruiting class out of Mississippi. Quick first step. He's more so of a 2-year developmental guy because he's 6'4", 250. So Alabama probably will want to bring him in for a year or two and put some more weight on him. And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing him become an interior defensive lineman, because I do think that he has enough frame to where you could bulk him up to around 285, 290 and You play him at defensive tackle, and he could be a lot more effective at defensive tackle than what he is on the edge, because with how quick of a get off he has and how disruptive he is against the pass, I think he would just be better suited as a defensive tackle, because normally when you have defensive tackles that have this kind of athleticism, they're really hard to stop. But if they want to play him as a edge rusher or a D end, then I don't think that would be a bad decision either. And then I think that the crown jewel, who personally I think is the best player in this Alabama recruiting class right now, is Xavier Griffin, edge rusher out of Georgia. I think he's a better player than what Jaire Edwards is, because he has the ability to do everything. And I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic. I mean that. If you watch his highlights, not only is he playing linebacker, but he's also getting after the quarterback. He's covering against the pass. He can also stop the run as well. This is your typical sideline-to-sideline linebacker with a lot more added versatility. And a few months ago, he was committed to USC. USC fans were very excited about him, and when he decommitted, they were a little bit heartbroken, because he would have been a game changer for Lincoln Riley and Deanna Lynn up there. And I was shocked to see that instead of him going to Georgia, he went to Alabama. So Kalen DeBoer essentially can go to California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia and take some of the best recruits out of some of the bigger name programs' backyards. And that's a testament to how good of a recruiter he is. And when you look at Xavier Griffin, he's 6'3", 200 pounds. He kind of looks a little bit like Jahad Campbell. That's the comp that 247 gave him. And it's a little bit understandable, even though I wouldn't really say he's Jahad Campbell, because Jahad Campbell is built like Hercules. But he probably won't start until around 2027, because you're not going to start in the SEC at this size. You definitely probably got to get the at least 225. So they'll bulk him up. And when he eventually does go on the field, he's going to be a monster along with Jaire Edwards. Having both Jaire Edwards and Xavier Griffin in the same class is just absolutely nasty. And it's a further indicator of how great of a recruiter that Kalen DeBoer is. And of course, Courtney Morgan is kind of doing a little bit of the heavy lifting, but the players got to fall in love with the head coach more so than them falling in love with the general manager, because the head coach is going to be spending more time with these guys than what the GM is going to do. So I think that Kalen DeBoer is a huge reason for why Alabama's having the amount of success that they currently are having in recruiting. I don't think it's all because of Courtney Morgan, and I definitely don't think it's because Nick Saban is still recruiting for Alabama. But this is why I was telling people that Kalen DeBoer is the second coming of Nick Saban. Now, I got met with a lot of criticism when I said that, but there's a lot of similarities that Kalen DeBoer and Nick Saban have. And Kalen DeBoer, he's won everywhere that he's been, and you just don't have the amount of success that Kalen DeBoer has been at so many places without you being able to have a good eye for talent and also being able to get guys to buy into you. So it's no surprise that Alabama's recruiting continues to roll post Nick Saban. So this is just a little brief Alabama recruiting update. Give your thoughts in the comment section below if you're watching on YouTube on how you feel this Alabama recruiting class is going to turn out, and what are some more commits that we could expect the Tide to land over these next couple of months.